We both know this isn't you. I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick. Oh no! I'm so sorry! I'm sorry!
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Slay the Princess is a horror-themed, choose-your-own-adventure style, meta-narrative, nightmare-fuel visual novel developed by Black Tabby Games. Set for release sometime in 2023, the game has a demo available via Steam that was just updated with a director's cut version. It now includes a total of 11 demo endings, which all end after Chapter 2 of a playthrough. But I'm getting ahead of myself a bit. The game starts you off on a path in the woods, and you are tasked with slaying a princess who is locked in a cabin.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Now, before you watch any more, if what you've seen has piqued your interest, then you should go right now to Steam, download the demo, play it a few times, and then come back. It would really be a crime to deprive you of the twists and turns that Slay the Princess takes, even in just its demo form. But if you're one of those that don't care about spoilers, you know, one of those wise guys, one of those real pieces of shit, or if you've already tried the demo for yourself, then just go ahead and keep watching. Thanks. Right from the get-go, you're given several choices, and not just slay the princess or save the princess, although those are two of the choices, of course. A lot of the options have to do with exploring the reason why the princess needs to be slain, who set you on this task, and why you, of all people, were chosen. As you continue to question your purpose, you begin to test the narrator's patience with your incessant need for justification. And soon, another character, the voice of the hero, will pop in to give his perspective on things.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
So you're not really the hero, or there's a part of you that is the hero. Maybe? This only further irritates the narrator, who hurriedly tries to push you onward in your quest. You can, of course, silently, or even gleefully, head to the cabin and, well, slay the princess, but the outcome may not be what you're expecting.
This isn't an ending. In fact, now that the princess has been slain, endings are a thing of the past. No. This is the beginning of eternity. Your reward.
You can also refuse and try to find your way out of the woods, which, I mean, that really goes places.
And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes. Glimpses of familiar wooden structures through the leaves. But as you focus on your surroundings, you start to realize that those flickers weren't just a trick of light. In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just a cabin, the cabin.
Meeting the princess can go several ways depending on some of the choices you've made up until entering the cabin and proceeding to the basement, but if you interact with the princess, all roads in Chapter 1 usually lead one way. To your death.
This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. I hope it was worth it.
Chapter 2 will start you back out on the path in the woods. Have you died? Or is this a continuation? You can question it, but the narrator isn't giving up any answers. And now there's another voice accompanying you, and the third voice changes depending on the events of Chapter 1. You could have the voice of the smitten, the voice of paranoia, or a number of others. Each of these voices have a distinct personality, and will sometimes argue with each other or the narrator, and may even have opinions on the choices you make. As mentioned, there are 11 endings to the demo, and I'm not going to spoil any of them here, even though I already threw up a spoiler tag earlier. But yeah, they're all pretty interesting, and all end with a to be continued title card, so it'll be really neat to see how each of these paths develop in the finished game. The writing in Slay the Princess is top-notch. It starts with an almost fairy tale-like vibe, but quickly subverts that and just continues with the subversions as it goes along, pulling you further down its dark and twisted rabbit hole. The art style is also quite unique, almost childlike and picture book-esque, but distorted and corrupted in some way. I like the pencil-drawn look and the gray shades to everything. The princess can look enchanting, wistful, arrogant, devious, and downright terrifying depending on the scene. Apparently there are a few artists on the team contributing to the different styles, but they all blend together almost seamlessly. I also like the way the path in the woods looks. The angles of the hills and the way the line work moves slightly give it an off-kilter look right from the start of the game. Immediately you get the sense that something isn't quite right. Seeing the lonely cabin perched on top of a hill as what appears to be the last fading remnants of daylight cling to the horizon and stars fill the darkened sky above is also a striking image, and one that's mood fluctuates as you continue through the different paths of the story. At times forlorn, then haunting, then sinister. You can also shift the foreground and background layers slightly as you move your mouse around the screen. I don't know why, but this feels so satisfying, like you have some level of control on the world and perspective. Maybe it's more of Slay the Princess's meta-narrative play, or maybe I'm just starting to overthink this too much. Speaking of the mouse cursor, you may or may not notice at first, but what is that? And your hand in certain scenes, bestial with claws and fur. What are you exactly? In the damsel's story path, when you return to the cabin in Chapter 2, the simple wooden interior has transformed into a stone castle. Aside from the table with the knife lying on it, which is normal for every playthrough, there is now a mirror on the wall, but the narrator either doesn't see it or denies that it's there.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here.
When you approach the mirror to gaze at your reflection, it disappears, and this achievement pops. Much like the story, what few music tracks there are in the demo shift and change as you play. A piano tune that starts in Chapter 1 as soft and playful with a hint of something darker becomes a broken and warped piece as you continue into Chapter 2. The voice acting also deserves recognition. The narrator and all of the voices in your head are played by the same actor. He doesn't have much of a range or much in the way of an ability to change his voice to suit different roles, but this must be on purpose. It's almost as if he's reading a storybook and trying to put on voices for other characters, and it works.
Cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
We already told you we're not playing along with your little game.
I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice.
Considering the other things going on here, it probably also has a deeper narrative meaning. The voice actress who plays the princess is great at displaying the princess's multiple personalities. She makes her seem vulnerable, independent, dangerous, or deranged, depending on how the story has progressed.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
Oh, are you now? Why don't you come down and let me take a look at you?
Slay the Princess is a beefy Steam demo. Beefy? Why did I write beefy? That doesn't fit at all. Slay the Princess is a lengthy Steam demo that will have you stuck in its world for several hours if you decide you want to find all the endings. It's a creepy and complex horror meta-narrative that I can't wait to see more of. So, Slay the Princess. Check it out. Dungeon Chill. Out.